This is the Australian Fishing Championships, the road to Toombra. 11 of Australia's elite brim, bass and barramundi anglers have been assembled to form 4 powerhouse teams. Each team has been equipped with the latest high-performance tournament angling craft matched with the most powerful engine and the latest innovations in fishing tackle. We've chosen 6 of the most challenging locations on the eastern seaboard to test the expertise of our pros. Foster, the oyster capital of Australia. The unspoiled waterways of Nambucca Heads. Majestic Cania Dam just north of Bundaberg. An old AFC favourite, picturesque Cania Dam. And Awunga Dam, home to some of the biggest barramundi in Australia. Our final destination and the location where our champions will be crowned is the mighty Toombra Dam. Here, warm, tranquil waters provide an ideal environment for huge barramundi in excess of a metre. It's not about luck, it's not about chance, it's about skill, knowledge and the sheer determination to become this year's Australian Fishing Champions.
Hi, I'm Steve Starling and welcome to spectacular Cania Gorge National Park in Queensland for round 4 of the Australian Fishing Championships, the road to Toombra. This is a really critical round for us. It's the last of our 2 bass rounds, and at the end of the day, one of our 4 bass pros will be relegated from the series for next year. I'm here with a man who knows all about the pressures of competitive sport, former MotoGP legend Daryl Beattie. Daryl, it's a big day.
Starlo, you can really feel how much it's starting to heat up here. We've already seen Tim the Brim Morgan from Team Humminbird eliminated from the Brim competition after 5 consecutive years. But he really showed at Mondrian how good an angler he really is, and he landed the only legal bass out of all 4 anglers for the day.
Absolutely. Mondrian will go down in AFC history as our toughest ever round. But we deliberately chose 6 really challenging venues for this year's AFC series just to make these guys work hard. And they'll be working hard out there today. And with only 6 points separating our leaders from our tail enders, anything could happen. It's do or die day. Team Berkley are sitting at the top of the leaderboard and actually have been since the start of this year's series. They have 25 championship points. Team Mercury are only 2 points behind after receiving 6 points for equal second place in the last event. On the way up the ladder is Team Humminbird, from 4th place to 3rd after Tim Morgan's hard-fought win at Mondrian. They've got 21 championship points. In last place is Team Club Marine. They slipped back a place last round. They sit on 19 points. But with a maximum 12 points on offer this round and only 6 points separating first from last, the championship race is getting really tight. But last round our pros were well and truly beaten by mighty Mondrian. Adam Reuter has a few ideas why the day was so tough.
Last week at Lake Mondrian would have to go down as one of the hardest fish rounds in AFC history. But who do we look to for the answers as to why the bass was so elusive? The fish? The anglers, the weather? Well, truth be known, it could be all of the above. Personally, I think the bass just weren't where they were supposed to be. This can be attributed to the increase in water temperature and the fact that big barramundi had moved into the prime feeding areas and displaced the bass into deeper waters. You see, the barramundi will feed on bass given the chance, so when the barra are on the hunt, the bass bite shuts down. So maybe if our anglers had a little bit more time on the water to work out where the bass were, the tallies might have looked a little different at the end of the day. But as we say on AFC Outdoors, that is tournament fishing.
Lake Cania may well be the smallest arena in the AFC, but there's still plenty of water here and lots of fish-holding habitat. And these Australian bass are well spread through the dam. I suspect we're going to see our pros using a lot of spinner baits and lipless crankbaits to cover as much water as possible and hopefully catch as many of these fish as possible, looking for those 2 big kickers that are going to give them a winning bag.
over the start line at the moment. This is one of my favourite venues and one of the most anticipated arenas this series. Daryl's down on the start line. Daryl?
Well, cheers, Adam. I'm here with the winner of this event last year, Harry Watson, and only 90 grams separated the top 3 anglers. Harry, you've got to be looking forward to Cania. It was a struggle at the last event. Will we see some good surface action?
Yeah, Daryl, it was a real struggle at the last event. We usually catch a lot of fish here, so it should be good fun, and hopefully we'll get a bit of surface action and hopefully we'll get some big fish.
Well, good luck, mate. One angler that would love to have a win today is Carl Jocumsen from Team Club Marine. Starlo, you're with Carl at the moment.
Thanks, Adam. Yeah, I'm here with Carl Jocumsen. Carl, a good result for Team Club Marine today is essential to keep you guys in the running.
Absolutely, Starlo. It's do or die today. I've got that much fire running through me blood. The adrenaline's pumping. I just can't wait to get out there. I want this one bad.
Well, there's 2 very experienced anglers who definitely need a good performance here today. There's 2 other pros fishing Cania. Let's hear what tricks they've got up their sleeves.
Yesterday's pre-fish was pretty tough. I've watched the AFC the last couple of years on TV and the guys have caught heaps of fish. I struggled out there a bit yesterday. I'll be happy to go out there today and get 2 kilos.
I'll be starting off with a spinnerbait, use that in the pre-fish, and then after that, when it gets a little bit warmer, I'm going to change to a soft jackal. I'm going to fish that in about 15 to 20 foot of water, and that'll get me that big fish hopefully.
Yeah, this year will be by far the toughest round at Cania. The fish aren't feeding as well and they're not as fat, so you just got to have that one lucky bite and get that decent one over 1 kilo.
Today my lure selection will be fairly diverse. I'll be using a beetle spin there with a Berkley soft plastic on it. I'll be using a TN60 jackal. If the fish are up on the surface in the morning, I'll be using an SK pop and then a jackal jerkbait.
With the 3 of us up for relegation, I think, look, whoever gets there and whoever gets knocked out, I don't think it's any blight on their reputation. I think it's everyone's deserved their spot here, and it's been a real tough series this year with the Mondrian round, only 1 fish caught, so it's going to be a little bit of luck, and hopefully that luck comes my way.
Well, we're only seconds away from the start here at Lake Cania. It's over to you, Matty and Steve, to kick us off.
Thanks very much, Adam, and these are always anxious moments for our pros. But Steve, more so today, given their poor performance last round, 3 of them face relegation and there's personal pride on the line.
That's right. Matthew Mott, Carl Jocumsen and Harry Watson are all sitting on 6 championship points, and one of those guys faces relegation. Tim the Brim scored a maximum 12 points at Mondrian, and last year's Cania event winner Harry Watson, he's ready to go and looking cool.
The Ford Ranger clock is counting down, the siren has sounded, and we are underway once again. And there you see Carl Jocumsen from Team Club Marine already tracking right as our other 3 pros take off. A tactical move early from our young gun Jocumsen.
This is it, not far from the start. Boys are gone, got the water to myself.
Carl's got his spot. Our other 3 pros are racing up the dam to the spots that they found in the pre-fish.
Oh, and here comes Matty Mott up on the inside of Harry Watson. Look at those rooster tails. This looks like a powerboat race, not a fishing tournament.
Do not adjust your set. This is not a James Bond movie. This is AFC at its finest. They are travelling at high speed, but safety is still an issue. They are all wearing their Club Marine PFDs. And Steve, what about the rules for today?
As we see Matthew Mott pulling up there, we have the guys fishing for 2 bass today in a 6-hour period. They're fishing lure and fly only, and knowing the history of Cania, this lake is famous for numbers of fish. They're going to be spending most of the day upgrading.
Well, let's hope they do. As we check out today's weather forecast, we have a fine and mild day. UV rating is very high, a slim chance of rain. The wind, light to moderate coming out of the east. Very cool at the moment, but it will warm up later to a top of 26 degrees, humidity 59%.
Now, Cania Dam has never been full, and currently it's sitting on 5% in this drought. There's always plenty of fish in Cania, and Carl Jocumsen owns the records in this place, including a 1.73 kilo bruiser. Whoever gets the biggest bites today is going to take out this event.
And that's exactly what Tim Morgan from Team Humminbird is looking to do. The mist rising off the water early in the morning, he's found his spot.
And he's throwing a surface lure. It's always tempting to do that at Cania. Throwing a topwater can yield great results.
Yep, there's one. So just throwing this little, it's a good bass too. Come on. Oh, I haven't got it. Yes, great fish. What a start to the day. Have a look. Just threw that little mega bass anthrax there. It's a surface lure, just really slowly winding across the surface, and that's a lovely bass.
What a start for Tim Morgan. He is fishing with so much confidence at the moment. Already he has one in the live well. Team Humminbird are on the charge. Now for our first look at Team Mercury's Matthew Mott. He's pulled up in this picture-perfect position, but can he pull out the prime performance?
Just casting that jackal out, letting him sink to the bottom, and just hopping him back up like that. Just little hops, just 2 little hits. Trying to keep in contact with the line all the time. Don't just drop it like that. Trying to keep that line firm. Yep. He just sucked that down. Not a big fish, but he'll do us.
And these guys really want to get their first fish in the live well. It relaxes the nerves and it gives them a platform to work from. Motty's caught this fish on a soft jackal, hopping it from very shallow water down this steep point, which is the first major bend up the dam.
There we go. Had a couple of hits on that one spot. Fish were getting up there. We were up a little bit further yesterday, but they've moved down. I did get one fish down here. Now that's not a bad fish, but you can see the poor quality of them, like a fish without the drought. That'd be probably 1.5 kilos fish. Look at that. Number one, mate. Gonna get some big ones today. That's choice.
After the break, Cania lives up to its reputation.
This is just choice. We're gonna smash them.
Welcome back to AFC Outdoors, round 4, coming to you from Lake Cania in Queensland. It is a sensational morning. There is still plenty of mist on the water, and that's where we find Harry Watson from Team Berkley. Steve, plenty of precision with that cast.
That's right, Harry's working close to the bank, and at this time of the day, that's where the bass are sitting.
Yep, there's one. I was just rolling that spinnerbait off there, and I got into about 10 foot and thought I'll bring it straight along instead of coming down and out. And I got 2 bites off his fish, so he's hit it and he's come back for that gulp. Nice smell and a nice size bass in the net. There you go, look at that.
And let's take a look at Harry's spinnerbait that he's using. He's added a gulp trailer to it, and what this is a soft plastic which sits underneath the skirt. When the bass hits it, it gets a taste, it gets a feel, and it comes back again and again.
What do you reckon about him, people? Eh? He's not Hank, but he's also legal. So I'm happy.
So inside the first hour, and 3 of our pros already on the board. Here's Steve Starling with more about today's arena.
Lake Cania is located in Cania Gorge National Park, just over 200 kilometres west of Bundaberg in Queensland's Burnett region. The lake offers spectacular scenery with huge sandstone cliffs towering above the creek and parts of the lake. Cania also has plenty of caravan and camping facilities located within the gorge and attracts more than 150,000 visitors every year. Known for its huge diversity of wildlife, Cania National Park is home to more than 100 species of birds. It's a popular place for water sports, boating activities and especially fishing, offering excellent opportunities to catch Australian bass, yellowbelly and the prehistoric-looking Saratoga. There are many great locations for our pros to fill their wells. Rocky walls, snags, sheltered weedy flats and deeper areas, but it's my tip that whoever makes it to the old quarry and its adjacent points first will get the upper hand and be in a good position to take out the round.
We're flying in low, and this is where we find Tim Morgan from Team Humminbird. Steve, tell us a bit more about the man they call Tim the Brim.
Viewers of AFC may think of Tim Morgan as just a brim fisherman, but he's won 3 ABT bass events over the years and he holds the record big bass bag. He's won more money in bass events than brim events, and he's finished runner-up 3 times in the Bass Angler of the Year.
And here is the man of the moment. One last round, not even entertaining being runner-up today. Already has one in the live well, searching for his second keeper.
Oh, whack.
Looks good
Yep.
here. He's on.
Out there. Got him. He hit it and started swimming towards me. Feels like a bass. Yep, just a little bass. So not a real big one. Let's grab this net. But we'll take him as number 2, if I can get him in the net. There we go. So not a huge fish. But that's number 2 in the well, so he's scoffed that spinnerbait. Only about 4 casts on spinnerbait, so maybe I should have used it a little bit earlier. But you can see that stinger hook on the back again, the same as Mondrian there. That one I've hung off the back there, a bit of milk bottle there to keep it on with, has really paid off. I wouldn't have caught that fish if I didn't have that stinger hook there. So let's get him in the well and try and get him a bigger upgrade.
Well, we're nearly an hour into the Cania round of the AFC, and young Carl Jocumsen from Team Club Marine has had a pretty slow start. He wasted no time at all in getting to one of his favourite spots, the old quarry, and who could forget how well this spot served him in the last series of the AFC. But so far this morning, not even a bite.
We return to Harry Watson from Team Berkley, and that cast just a little bit deeper.
Harry's adjusting his pattern as the sun moves up in the sky, throwing that spinnerbait a little deeper.
Yep, got another one brought out. I don't know, that might be a yellow. No, it's a bass. This fish is just arcing out into the middle. He's not a big one, but he's sort of looks all right. He's legal. There's number 2.
So Harry using that same spinnerbait in the same spot to complete his limit. And Harry knows now with 2 in the well, he can spend the rest of the day fishing for big bass.
We're tracking now over Matthew Mott, 1 in the live well. He hasn't moved from this position. Steve, why has he chosen this particular spot?
These drop-offs into the old creek bed are a real target zone for bass. You can see the change in water colour there. Motty's throwing his lure up into the shallows, he's hopping it down the drop-off, and that's where the fish are sitting.
He's one of Australia's finest, so let's take a look at his stats.
Matthew Mott qualified for the AFC by winning the ABT Bass Grand Final in 2005. He works full-time as a bass and barra guide, which makes him an ideal inclusion into Team Mercury. And even though he escaped relegation by a narrow margin last year, he's back bigger and better than ever.
And here he is, just showing us that technique that has made him so successful. Just hopping that lure off the bank. He's on.
Yep.
This could be number 2. Now, if he can land this fish, he'll join Harry Watson and Tim Morgan with a full bag, and all 3 will be upgrading.
Here we go, come on. This one ain't gonna get off. Just taking my time. Geez, I'll be happy when I get this one in the well. Get that net there. It's not a big fish, but he'll do me very nicely. There you go. Look at that. That's number 2. Big K's on roll now. Look out, boys, I'm coming to get yous. This is just choice. We're gonna smash him. He's a nice fish too.
Time for a break on AFC Outdoors. When we return, it's all about weight as the upgrading begins. Welcome back to AFC Outdoors, round 4 from Lake Cania, which is part of the Cania Gorge National Park in Queensland. The fishing has been good so far. 3 of our pros have 2 in the live well. One of them is Tim Morgan, and yesterday he caught up with Daryl Beattie after the pre-fish.
Well, Timmy Morgan, I've formed a plan to get myself in that driving seat. You're a good fisherman. I want to be your teammate. Can I have a drive?
No worries, Daryl. Let's go give it a crack, eh?
All right. Well, Tim, it's an impressive-looking boat, this 18-foot-6 Stratus. They're sleek, they're fast, but why the fiberglass over an aluminium boat?
Well, the fiberglass, Daryl, it behaves so much better. They're a little bit heavier, but they'll actually go through rough water a lot more smoothly. They've got 2 8-foot rod lockers, so you can put a heap of rods in here, a huge tackle locker, a drinks locker to keep all our drinks and lunch cool, big live well for your tournaments, a separated one for your boaters and non-boaters, a couple more dry storage lockers at the back here, and then a big access hatch at the back to access all your electronics, oil well, and your batteries. So it's got everything.
Fantastic to have 150 horsepower E-Tech Evinrude on the back. These things hoot along.
That's right, Daryl. It'll push a boat like this along at 60 miles an hour, so, you know, it's a lot of fun to drive as well. But the great thing about the Evinrudes is that you only have to get it serviced every 3 years or 300 hours. So not like other motors where you got to get them serviced every 50, 100, 200 hours. Once every 3 years or 300 hours.
Also, when you pull up in these little tributaries and places, to be able to use your Minn Kota electric motor and get around all those snags and little spots you want to get into.
The fishing that we do, you couldn't do without the electric motor. It's probably one of the most important bits of equipment on the boat. At Cania Dam, we were fishing the weed edges in the timber, and the electric motor just made it so easy. Like, without it, wouldn't have caught any fish.
I'm impressed with the Humminbird as well. You can see all those bait fish and the little things that you need to see.
Yeah, this Humminbird side image is unbelievable. Like, I've had readings on this over 100 kilometres an hour, so reading at speed is unbelievable. But also the side image technology, when we're idling around looking for fish, we can cover up to 150 metres of area in 50 metres of water. So with everyone else with their sounders travelling up and down, it might take them 2 hours to find the fish, we'll be able to find it in about 10 minutes.
I love the fishing, I love the boat, I love speed.
Let's go.
Back to the action with Harry Watson. He's in good form at the moment. He's already upgraded, looking for that big kicker.
Like to upgrade that smaller fish there. There's just not as much water depth up there now, and I'm not sure if they're going to be up there. I'm just thinking they're down here. Oh, he's not bad. Where is he? No, he's small. So that fish last year would have been 200-300 grams heavier. He's skinny. He's as skinny as a ray. He's skinnier than me, this fish.
Not the weight that Harry was looking for. We return to Matthew Mott. It's a sense of deja vu. Same spot, same technique.
And a lot of our anglers stick to a theory. Don't leave fish to find fish, and that's exactly what Motty's doing here.
Yes. He come back.
That bass of Motty's hit the lure once and then came around and hit it a second time. Matthew's fishing the deeper ledges now, trying for that all-important upgrade, and this fish looks like it's got a bit more weight than the others he's landed so far.
Hoo, 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 hoo. Wouldn't be dead for quits. Oh, he's got a bit of fight in him, this one. He's an upgrader. He's an upgrader. Oh, maybe not. Got to get him in the net first. Oh, yeah. Boys are on fire today. Man, you wouldn't want to be dead for quits. Oh, yeah, he's a good fish. Look at that sucker. Yeah. Mercury, number one on the water, mate. Number one on the water. He's coming to get ya. Ha ha.
Bass anglers love their surface fishing, and we know that Lake Cania is renowned for its spectacular surface bite. But it doesn't pay to get locked into just one style of fishing and to stick to that doggedly, even if it's not producing fish. Watch our pros. They'll try surface luring for about 10 or 15 minutes, and if they don't get results, they'll go to a subsurface lure like a spinnerbait, a lipless crankbait, or a diving minnow. Be versatile in your fishing, and you'll catch more fish.
Now, we haven't seen a lot of Carl Jocumsen. We've been concentrating on our other three pros. They're all upgrading. Now, Carl does have one in the well. He's sticking to his guns. He's stayed in the quarry.
Yep, got him. Yes. Yep, good legal bass. Oh, yeah. Just wound him off that rocks. Coming towards me now. Oh, good bass. That's what they were doing yesterday. He's all right, good legal. This will be my second. Be happy to get him in the boat. Yes, there you go. Now that takes some pressure off. Let's have a look at him. He's not too bad. Oh, yeah. Awesome. Number two. Drilled that spinnerbait coming off those rocks. Don't know why they didn't hit this morning, but he's come out and he's whacked it this time. That's great fun. Heart's racing now. Let's go and get another one. Put him in the well.
Well, we've just pulled up here alongside Harry Watson, the reigning champ and the winner from this round last season. Harry, how's it going this morning?
Yeah, pretty good actually. I've caught about 8 fish. I've got a couple of kilos in the well. So I don't know, I'm going all right. It just depends how everyone else is going, I suppose. It depends. Would be the crunching factor.
What about upgrades? Any of those hanks in there?
No, both my fish are about 1 kilo. So I think I've got about 2.2. I've been getting them on these rocks. So I'm just, you know, getting in close to the rocks and banging across rocks, stuff. I'm just trying to look for a big fella. There might be a big bloke in the rocks here somewhere. That's pretty much my pattern for the, probably another 10, 15 minutes. So I'm going to move down on some deep rocks down in the main basin.
Good luck.
After the break on AFC Outdoors, the action is explosive.
Boom! You do it!
Welcome back to the Australian Fishing Championships from Lake Cania in Queensland. It is a fabulous venue. The wildlife is plentiful and the action with our anglers at the moment is sensational. Matthew Mott is in terrific form at the moment, looking for another upgrade. On again.
Yep. Oh, come on. Come on, stay on, baby. No, you don't. That's the way. Look at that rod do that work there. Come on. Oh, it's not a yeller, is it? Don't be a yeller. Oh. Come on. Come on. Be nice to Uncle Matthew. Come on. Oh, yeah. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Get in there. Come on. Boom! You beauty! Yeah. Look at that. That's a cracker, man. Look at that. Oh. That's AFC right there, man. That is AFC right there.
How pumped is Matty Mott? He has certainly put the challenge out to Tim Morgan, who is just around the corner.
When I'm fishing a jerkbait like this, I like to do a really big long cast, get the lure out there, probably do about 10 or 15 cranks just to swim it down near the bottom there, because this lure actually suspends in the water. And then all I'm doing is giving it a few quick jerks like this, so it's going through the water like that, like an injured bait fish, and then it just suspends there. It doesn't float, it doesn't sink. Then I'll just do a few more jerks like that, and quite often the bass will hit it just as it's sitting there. So all the hits I've had along here has the lures just sitting there doing nothing. Yep, there's one. Doesn't seem like a big fish. Well, it might be an upgrade. Yeah, I think he'll definitely be an upgrade. Oh, a good fish. Let's get him in the net. Sweet. Lovely bass. All right, a lovely bass there. That's a definite upgrade for me. Maybe a fish around the kilo mark, so I'm really stoked. I've got a bigger bag than yesterday, and let's go try and catch another big one.
Well, below me, Jocumsen from Team Club Marine. He's fishing the main basin. Let's head down to Starlow for a closer look.
Young Carl Jocumsen from Team Club Marine is fishing right on the border of the no fishing zone. He's still in legal water, but he's pushing it to the limit. Most of these dams, especially in Queensland, have an exclusion zone a few hundred metres either side of the wall. He's right down on it at the moment. Let's see how he goes.
Yep. Oh, pull the hook. Bugger.
Carl starting to feel the pressure of possible relegation. He's pushing the boundaries. Starlow caught up with Carl and Tim Morgan after yesterday's pre-fish.
Well, Tim, relegated from the Brim division, but short of being disqualified in this bass round at Cania, you're definitely going to be back with us next season as a bass angler. How does that feel?
Oh, it feels awesome, Starla. I probably would have rather been in there as a Brim angler, but it wasn't meant to be. Had a lot of pressure on me going into Mondrian, and the result for Team Humminbird was absolutely awesome.
Tim, you're pretty adept at both Brim and bass fishing. Have you got a preference for one over the other?
I know, Starla. I love both Brim and bass fishing over the last couple of years, but I've probably done it a little bit better in the bass comps, and I think we've got Carl to blame for that. I've been doing bass comps longer, but teamed up with Carl a couple of years ago in the AFC, really got me a new passion for it, and I've been back out there and given him a run for his money.
Carl, how was your season on the ABT circuit?
Last year, I actually won Angler of the Year, so that was definitely one of the best things I think I've ever done as far as the tournaments. And then this year I was leading for the first 3 tournaments, and then this young fella here, Timmy, passed me by a point. So this year it looks like I might get a second or a third, so I've been really lucky this year, yeah.
Now, Carl, after that really tough round at Mondrian, you and 2 other anglers face potential relegation here at Cania. Does that weigh on your mind?
Yeah, definitely, Starlay. AFC is probably one of the best things that I've definitely ever done. So I definitely don't want to get kicked out this year. So this round at Cania is by far the most important round I've ever had to fish. So this is the one to do well. It's do or die.
There you go. 2 AFC Bass Pros with everything to gain and potentially everything to lose in this all-important round at beautiful Lake Cania.
And it is a venue that's proving very fruitful indeed for Matthew Mott from Team Mercury. Here he is upgrading once again, and we are fishing catch and release, so the lightest bass back into the water. Things looking good for Matthew Mott.
Got about an hour to go, hour and a half to go, and it's very, very tough. Not knowing, the worst thing is not knowing, and just hoping that the fish I've got are going to hold me up there, because I have got 2 good fish, but you don't know whether it's a spot I'm in or that they're going off today, but the other boys are moving around and I haven't moved. I've done this whole 100-metre stretch for the whole session, so hopefully he's hoping, praying that they hold up for me.
Time now to take a look at the Humminbird GPS plotting map. Steve, what will this show us?
It'll show us the type of tactics the guys are using here at Cania. Matthew Mott has spent all of his day fishing one spot, and he hasn't moved upstream of that one bend in the river all day. Carl Jocumsen is doing exactly the same thing. He's concentrating his time in that quarry, defending it from other anglers.
There's a ledge just out from the quarry mouth here where I got a few fish yesterday, so I'll fish it, and if I see Harry or something coming, I can quickly duck in and have another crack at it.
And Team Berkley's Harry Watson is defending his own patch of water just over the ridge from Carl's quarry. Harry Watson is the master of mind games, and when he sees or hears another angler coming, he keeps his cards close to his chest.
I've just caught 2 fish off this little rock wall, and I thought it was one of the other anglers coming. So I've put the fish down in the bottom there, and I made out we were still fishing, but it turns out it's a camera boat turning up, so we'll dump him in the well.
In contrast, Team Humminbird's Tim Morgan is running a pattern, which means he's found a lure and a technique which is working for him. Now today, that's a jerkbait pattern on shallow ledges. Tim's running all over the lake trying to find spots where he can apply this pattern and get the big bites that he needs to end up on top of the leaderboard. Now after Tim's last round victory at Mondrian, he has 12 points. He can't get relegated and he's fishing stress-free.
Now, here he is applying that pattern. He's caught 7 legal fish, he's upgraded once, he's got just over half an hour to go.
Yep, there's one.
And he's on.
So I just threw that lure in, did the 5 to 10 cranks down, paused it, and on that first pause, just had this fish whack it. Oh, he feels like a really good fish too. Nice bass. Don't know if he'll be an upgrade, but we'll get him in the net. Look at him, excellent. So this little jerkbait is working an absolute treat. He's not as long as the other one. He may be a little bit fatter, so we might have to put him on the balance beam to have a look at. I'll just get him out of the net. Unhook him. So no, I don't think he's going to come close to it, but we'll have a look anyway. It's better safe than sorry. But he just nailed that jerkbait on the pause.
Onto the scales, but unfortunately for Tim, that bass not quite heavy enough and released back into Lake Cania. Now we return to Matthew Mott. He's on again, he's upgraded 4 times, and this could be his 15th legal fish.
Oh, there's a bit of weight there. Oh, this is fighting like that other one. I haven't seen any colour yet. Oh, you're kidding me. Come on. Stay on there, mate. Stay on there. Stay on there. Oh, let that reel do the work. Let your rod do the work.
He's not as excited as earlier on, but he's been going so well his expectations are to upgrade every time.
Oh man, this is not bad. This one might be an upgrader. I don't know if he is. Oh yeah, I think he might be. Man. Look at that. What do we got? About 15 minutes to go, and that's my next upgrade, I'm sure of it. I think he's a bit bigger than another one in there, and he's well over a kilo fishing. That might be just the one we wanted.
All right, I've got to go now. We've got a minute to get back to the start line, so I don't want to get a late penalty. I'm really happy with how the day's gone. I don't think I'm going to have enough weight to win it, but let's just go back and see what the scales say.
I've got 2 nice fish in the well. If it was anything to go on what it was like yesterday, they've definitely got to be enough to hold me up in the first or second, which is what I need to do. But mostly all I need to do is beat either Harry or Carl, and if I do that, I'll be really happy. That means I'll be in for another year. And who wouldn't love that?
So, to the results from round 4 at Lake Cania, and Team Mercury certainly did enjoy a good day. 16 legal fish, upgrading 5 times. Similar days for Team Berkley and Team Humminbird, and Team Club Marine upgraded twice from 7 caught.
Well, I'm here with Carl Jocumsen, who's the first in for today's weigh-in. Carl, is that a sign of confidence, and was the quarry good to you today? Because it's a difficult round, this one. It's a decider.
It was, yeah. Pressure was on today, but yeah, no, I don't think I took it out today. Hopefully it would be interesting to see at the weigh-in, but I think I've got the smallest bag by the sounds of it.
Well, stick around, because on the other side of this break, we've got the weigh-in at beautiful Lake Cania.
Welcome back to AFC Outdoors from Lake Cania in Queensland. It has been a wonderful day's fishing. It has grabbed the attention of all those living in and around this national park. 2 of our pros have already hit the scales at the weigh-in. First up was Team Club Marine's Carl Jocumsen, his bag weighing 1.96 kilos. But not enough to beat Tim Morgan, his bag weighing 2.26 kilos. Here's Daryl Beattie with our current leader.
Tim, are you pretty confident with that weigh-in? Because you estimated today a 2 kilo bag would do well.
Yeah, Daryl, yesterday I really struggled to get fish. 2.26 today I'm over the moon with. However, I think I need 1 more kicker fish to get the winning weight.
Well, our next angler on his way is Harry Watson, so give him a round of applause.
Harry Watson from Team Berkley with another 2 of those beautiful Cania bass. We'll get Adam to get rid of the water out of those. You had a pretty good day out there, Harry?
Oh yeah, it was a lot better than the pre-fish. Yeah, the weather changed a little bit and the fish come on the chew.
Couldn't get that surface bite happening like you did last season, though.
No, it didn't feel right this morning. Timmy got one on the surface, but it just didn't feel right to me, and I didn't persist for too long.
Okay, what'd you get most of them on?
Oh, I got them on a spinnerbait, 90% of them, and on a jerkbait I got a few.
All right, we'll get these 2 lovely bass on the scales, and the mark to beat is 2.26 kilos, which Timmy Morgan is sitting on at the moment. We'll get them on there, and you have 2.38 kilos. Well done, mate, new leader. And finally, we've kept him waiting till the very end, Matthew Mott from Team Mercury.
Sure you can lift him?
Oh, there are a couple of thumping bass in there. Take it easy on those ones, Adam. You'd be pretty happy about that.
Mate, I had a great day out there. It was absolutely terrific. Caught heaps of fish, and then a couple of big ones come in, so it was good.
Now, you wouldn't have used a lot of fuel in the Mercury today.
No, I just went to one point. I decided I was going to stay there the whole session, and I did. I just kept catching fish, so I thought, what's the use of moving?
Righto, let's get them on there. 2.38 is the mark to beat, and I think you've easily done that with 2.96 kilos. Give him a big round of applause. Very nearly cracked the 3 kilo mark. An excellent bag of fish. And we'll certainly weigh one of those for big bass.
And Matthew Mott did pick up the Aloha Boats Big Fish, 1.7 kilos, giving him 2 bonus points. So to the points for round 4, and Team Mercury's Matthew Mott had a perfect day with the maximum 12 points. Team Berkley's Harry Watson picked up 8, Team Humminbird's Tim Morgan picked up 6, Carl Jocumsen just 3, and unfortunately for him, relegation. But the day belonged to Matthew Mott.
In the pre-fish, I noticed the other boys are fishing on the banks, and I fished on the banks for a little while and sort of didn't really get too many fish. So I thought, being a little bit cooler, the fish might be a bit deeper, and this bite really suits the way I fish. And so I fished deeper. I was hopping masts in around about that 20 foot of water off a drop-off, looking for drop-offs on the sounder, and paid dividends for me.
And it paid dividends for Team Mercury as they jumped to the top of the leaderboard after round 4 on 35 points. Team Berkley relegated to second on 33, Team Humminbird holding third down with 27, and Team Club Marine in last position on 22.
Well, once again, breathtakingly beautiful Lake Cania has lived up to its reputation as one of the AFC's all-time favourite destinations, providing us with a spectacular final bass round for this series. And Daryl, what a big day it was for Matty Mott.
Starlo, it was an impressive day considering we thought the bass at Lake Cania were going to be lacking some condition, but Matthew Mott's bag of 2.96 kilos and the biggest fish of 1.7 kilos was a good day for him.
It was a fantastic day, especially when you consider that the smallest fish in Matty's bag was as big as the next biggest bass in the whole field. Some very impressive fishing indeed. But you know, what a sad day for young Carl Jocumsen from Team Club Marine, relegated from the bass fishery for next year. But young Carl gets a chance to strut his stuff one more time because the guys are headed up the road right now, and our next stop is legendary Lake Awonga and it's metre plus barramundi. You won't want to miss that. We'll be there for the next round, and meantime you can find out all about what's happening in the AFC by visiting fishnet.com.au, and we'll catch you next time on the AFC.
This looks like a powerboat race, not a fishing tournament.
Got another one.
At least I'm not going to donut.
Oh yeah! Number 2. It's a cracker, man. Look at that. Fingers crossed for a 1.4. If I see Harry or something coming, I can quickly duck in.
Yeah, I'm going this way now. That's safer for everyone.